A massive storm formed over the Gulf of Mexico, growing faster than any forecast predicted. Warm ocean air clashed violently with a sudden cold front, creating a spinning giant that marched straight toward America's agricultural heartland. By the time it made landfall, it wasn't just a storm. It was a force of nature tearing open the sky. Rain hammered the land like an endless waterfall. Rivers swelled, levees crumbled, and entire fields vanished beneath a raging brown sea. Corn, soybeans, wheat, months of work were swallowed in minutes. The fertile topsoil, the lifeblood of the Midwest, peeled away and drifted downstream like mud-colored smoke. Farmers could only watch as generations of prosperity dissolved in front of them. On the great ranches and poultry farms, chaos erupted. Barns flooded, fences collapsed. Cattle, horses, pigs, and tens of thousands of chickens were swept away by violent currents that tore across the land like liquid wildfire. The storm didn't just break buildings, it broke the rhythm of America's food supply. A single night of destruction created a shockwave that would be felt for months. Downstream, towns and cities faced the storm's full fury. Houses filled with water in seconds, their windows bursting under the pressure. Cars spun down the streets like abandoned debris. Warehouses, factories, hardware stores, supermarkets, everything was hit. Machines soaked, power grids shattered, entire business districts drowned in a silence broken only by the roar of the flood. Families fled through the night, wading through chest-deep water with nothing but flashlights and shaking hands. Neighborhoods became lakes. Schools and hospitals turned into emergency shelters. Dreams, savings, memories, all washed into the same muddy tide. Yet amid the devastation, human courage rose. Rescue boats sliced through the flooded streets. Volunteers built makeshift barns. Communities shared food, blankets, and strength. Slowly, painfully, America began to rebuild. Not because the storm spared them, but because they refused to be broken. Thank you for following this story. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to help spread green. Days of relentless rain turned California's valleys into vast fields of swirling water. In the Central Valley, towns near Tulare Lake became isolated islands in a wide, muddy sea. Wind howled across failing levees as water slammed against weakened soil, tearing through it piece by piece. The familiar streets of small towns vanished beneath rising water. Low-lying neighborhoods were hit first. Water rushed into yards, climbed over doorsteps, and poured into living rooms, peeling paint, cracking floors, destroying memories. By evening, furniture floated. By night, wedding photos were coated in mud. At dawn, entire blocks fell silent, broken only by the rattle of loose tin roofs. Transportation collapsed quickly. Roads disappeared under a brown haze, marked only by bus stop roofs and tilted street signs. Several bridges along Highway 99 buckled under the pressure, while landslides from Northern California hills cut off major mountain routes. Power poles fell, wires tangled, and darkness spread across towns. Agriculture, the heart of California, suffered deeply. Almond orchards, vineyards, and vegetable fields lay underwater, young crops rotting before harvest. Barns, irrigation canals, and rural water systems were swept away. Farmers stood on levees, staring at endless water where their life's work once grew. Commerce ground to a halt. Warehouses along the Sacramento River flooded. Machinery drowned in mud, and markets closed in silence. Trucks sat half submerged in oily puddles, and entire supply chains froze as if someone had unplugged the state. At the center of everything was Tulare Lake, once dry for decades, now swollen enough to swallow entire communities. To protect larger cities downstream, officials opened flood diversion zones, sacrificing farmland to save lives. Public infrastructure collapsed in waves. Schools, clinics, and administrative buildings filled to chest height with dirty water. Sewage pipes ruptured. Water treatment plants failed, forcing tanker trucks to deliver drinking water door to door. Thank you for following this story. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to help spread green.